Good afternoon.
Yeah, thank you for reaching out. It's kind of bringing, what you do for home automation,
Yeah,
trying to bring a little bit of that into the van. But I think it's the van, when you have a motorhome or a camper van, everything's so disconnected from each other because it's parts from various different suppliers. Then we do something better than others, so we end up with all these different bits and bobs around, which in all honesty frustrated me. So,
yeah,
that was the point of the product, is that we sort of integrate absolutely everything within the van into one panel. So you can have, your brilliant Victron chargers and your batteries from whoever you would choose, but then you don't have to pick and choose between the lot, and how they communicate with each other. Because we just build the interface that talks a bit of everything. So
yeah.
you still get everything you love and everything you want to put in it, but at the same time, you don't need to sacrifice on anything.
Yes, yes, yes. It's completely customizable to your own van and your own setup, and whether you've got this kind of battery or that kind of gas, or you
Yeah,
know,
correct.
yeah, whether you've got grey water or not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly
yeah.
that. Yeah.
There was something you said in the interview with the VW people about having to climb under the van to check your water tanks and that kind of thing. And if that eliminates grubbing around you know, in the car
Yeah.
park in January,
Yeah.
then that's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah. So it was actually something that wasn't ever designed to go public to anybody at all. So I wanted something in my own van. I researched the internet and I couldn't find anything at all that kind of suited my needs. So I built myself a very rudimentary, rough version of what you see today. Um, that was, that was dedicated to my van. You couldn't change anything on the screen at all. Um, in all honesty, it was a little bit naff, but it worked for the purpose that I wanted. Um,
Yeah,
I then started getting requests from other people who'd seen it, saying, "Oh, can you make me one?" And then eventually I went to see a local converter and just said, "What do you think there's a market for it?" To which the answer was yes. However, all these different things need to happen, because obviously I can't just build one for him and then build one for someone else, because that's where this customizable side comes into it. Because the
yeah,
hardware might be the
yeah.
same or similar, but then you've got a whole different front end for everybody, which it becomes, you can't manage a product, in that
Yeah,
way.
it's completely
So
unmanageable, that sort of thing, isn't it? Yeah,
yeah, we still kind of started thinking about how to make it so that anybody could take it away and use it. And this is where the customization came in. But then got talking to other converters that said, actually, we could do some water in it and gas tanks and Propex and stuff. So we then went away and we started doing the water tanks. We had another company who wanted to look at the level of the van, so we started looking at that. And so everything that we've done has been led by sort of so influenced by the need of sort of the market and what people are wanting. So even the integrations, we don't sit there and say, actually, I want to talk to Roma batteries this week. It's generally that someone comes to us and says, actually, can you talk to Roma? And then, what we get into now is that, Roma actually reach out to us and say, actually, we want to integrate with you, which became completely backwards. I've gone
yeah,
from
that's really
doing
cool.
this thing in my garage, just playing around for me, to the big boys reaching out to me to say, actually, I like what you're doing, which it's very different.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, it looks like a pretty cool innovation. I mean, the touchscreen panels that you use, is it just one type of screen that you use, or um, do you have different screens for different vehicles or for different interfaces? I mean, what does the market tell you here? Do you need a certain size?
Yeah, I think so. So we do the 5 and the 7 inch screens, so they're both the
Okay.
exact same interface, but we shrink down the images and the interface onto the screen. Um, what we found is that the 5 inch is quite popular in kind of the mass market. So the company's doing big numbers where actually that saving of 20 quid does mean a lot. It's going into a smaller van. Or if they do a big van and a small van, they want to actually say there's a difference in the vans. So you can have a big screen in this one, and you only get a small screen in here.
Right.
In all honesty, the 7-inch is the more popular. So I sell more than those. I don't sell many 5 inches. Just sort of through the shop on the website. It's generally the 7, but again, it's the need of the customer. So if they've only got a small space, well, they buy
Yeah.
the 5-inch one instead. So the main function, obviously, on the main screen, you've got your switching. So your switching is something that you use every day. We're talking very simple switching. We're literally going to trigger a wire that disconnects and reconnects that circuit back together. Obviously, the primary function is, again, coming back to the customizable. So if you wanted one button smack in the middle of the screen that did nothing else, it's very expensive for what it is, but that's an option. That is what you can have. And then obviously we've also got the battery management side of things. So I think the battery management is key, because when you're in any kind of off-grid scenario, your battery rules the roost. That is what you've got to protect. That's what you're always looking at to make sure that you've got something in there. So what we try to do is make sure that it's more intelligent. So we know what the battery state of charge is. We know that, say, you've got a water heater or you've got lights on, and we know what draw is coming out. So if you get to a certain level in your battery that you say let's say 20%, well, actually I'm going to start turning things off. And if you're at 95% and you've got charge going in, well, why wouldn't I turn on your water heater? Because if you're fully charged, you've got more going into it. So let's reuse that energy that would eventually be wasted. So do a dump overload. So for 95%, it'll turn on a switch. At 90%, it'll turn it back off. And these are designated for water heaters or any kind of heater, really. And it's just making sure that we get the most out of the energy that we're producing. Whether you're driving somewhere or the solar kicking in, it's the same thing.
So it's a smart van technology then, really, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
In a holistic sense, it's the hub that takes care of everything inside your van and make sure it optimizes how everything works together, I guess.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, correct.
Now, I really like this monitoring, and I like a graph. I like a spreadsheet. As you're monitoring this stuff, has it got does it record? I mean, can it? I know you monitor the power levels. Let's say I go out for a weekend and it's very sunny and I have a great time by the beach. And then I go out for another weekend and there's lots of cloud cover. Is there any way that I can export the data so that I can see how much more power I generated or how much more power I used?
So no, not at the moment, but that is a very good
Okay.
suggestion, though. So we do collect that data. That data is sat there. So there is the graph on the main management page where you can see how much the voltage is, or the amps gone in, amps come out. So we do display that on the screen. We haven't given an option to export it, but that's a great suggestion.
Do the panels themselves use much energy?
So they've got two states. They've got obviously their on state where it's, so if we triggered all the switches, obviously each of the switches pull a little amount of current. You got the screen itself. Obviously, the bigger the screen, the more power you're going to use. So I think the most we can ever pull is about half an amp with everything turned on. When it's in a standby mode, it's about 0.1 of an amp. So there is still a pull there. You do need to manage that. The older versions used to send you an email when the battery started to get low. That's been retired just because it wasn't used. And obviously there's quite a lot of upkeep on that. So we are moving towards an app. And then when you have the app, as long as it's connected to Wi-Fi, you'll get a notification wherever you are, say the battery's running low. And again, that will come back to what you said about exporting the data. When it's internet connected all the time, then we can export that data and have it visible to the end users.
So you're out in your van, you're out in the middle of nowhere, but you're still connected. If there's a Wi-Fi signal and there's an update coming through, your Savvyvan interface can receive that information, and you can be updated wherever you are.
Correct. Yeah. So a lot of people use the hotspot on the phone. So, when they're away, they just turn a hotspot on. It'll automatically connect as soon as it sees it. And then it's back online again.
Excellent. Excellent. That's very digital nomad, isn't it?
It is, but equally, if you're not connected, then you do get your peace and quiet, and there's nothing that will come up on the screen.
Right.
These things will work fully offline.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Simon. I've enjoyed talking with you.
Perfect. Nice to speak to you. Thanks very much. Cheers.
Take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.